Bitcoin is currently hanging on life support, and while this is happening, there are some very interesting signals flashing in the market. As this Bitcoin hidden bullish divergence is currently flashing, the funding rates are extremely negative on exchanges. Still, the majority of liquidity is laying above us, and to be exact, more than $10 billion in Bitcoin short liquidations are laying above us. And also, if you're just looking at the charts right now, there is something very important and interesting playing out right now, which I need to discuss on today's update video. So, without any further ado, don't forget to slap that like button once again back above 900 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. So, once looking at the imminent short term on Bitcoin, we can currently see we created a very interesting V-shaped recovery pattern. And right now we're starting to recover ever so slightly after this massive dump we saw yesterday. So Bitcoin indeed created this massive dump, and currently it has seen an ever so slight bounce back towards the upside. And basically, if I am zooming out right now here, what we can clearly identify is that Bitcoin is still trading in a significant downtrend. Still, Bitcoin is creating lower highs after lower highs, after lower low as well here. And you can clearly see that, and in my opinion, this trend is only going to be shifting once Bitcoin does break above the previous range high in the market, which in this case is going to be laying around 64,000 US dollars. So if Bitcoin does see a push higher and breaks above this previous high in the market, then I can start to say, okay, right now potentially Bitcoin is bottomed and we're going to be starting to look for a reversal. But as long as we're not breaking above this level and potentially even see a rejection from it, we're most likely just going to be seeing the downtrend continue for Bitcoin. So that is some very crucial, important information. And also, if you're looking at this trend, currently Bitcoin is just hanging on the most important support box of this entire consolidation phase. And really, the moment Bitcoin breaks below this level is going to be also the moment we should be worrying. And really, if Bitcoin breaks this support box, so if Bitcoin breaks below $60,000, the next big support target, in my opinion, is going to be laying all the way down to $50,000 to 52,000 US dollars. So, and honestly, if we would get the opportunity to open up a trade and let 52,000 US dollar level or to accumulate Bitcoin right there, I would take that opportunity with both hands. And yes, really, as Bitcoin is going to be falling lower, I am only going to be buying more because I am very convinced the market is currently in a short-term correction, and over the larger time frame, we're going to be going much, much higher than we're already sitting. So it's a matter of patience. And if you're going to be patient enough, you're going to be waiting. And honestly, if we get another move down, I would actually embrace that opportunity with both hands. Also, important level of resistance to look ahead of is, of course, this downward sloping resistance line, which we have been creating right here. I do want to be quickly pointing out that yesterday we've seen the first positive day on the spot Bitcoin ETF. We saw an approximately 500 Bitcoin getting bought up by the ETF, worth an approximately 31 million US dollars. So it's not a large buy we saw yesterday from the spot Bitcoin ETF, but still we are seeing ever so slight inflows again. And that is, of course, a good thing to be having, especially since the market is correcting so heavily. And yeah, I just can't go beneath the fact that currently, if we're just looking at the funding rates in the market, they are so extremely negative. And due to the fact that the funding rates are so negative, it just gives me this clear opinion that most likely Bitcoin is just going to be squeezing much, much higher from off this point. So yeah, things are looking actually quite great in my opinion. We're seeing the funding rates being so negative. I think that this is a clear indication that the market is most likely going to be heading higher. You can see right here on Bybit, funding rates is almost minus 0.2%. And that just gives this very strong indication that the market is so heavily getting shorted that most likely another short squeeze is going to be imminent on this market. And yeah, if you're looking at the liquidation heat map, we can clearly still see the majority of the liquidity is laying above us, and more than $10 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations are going to get liquidated if Bitcoin hits 74,000 US dollars. And I think that's going to be an extremely likely target that's going to be reached by the market. So it's a matter of time before we're going to be hitting it. And in my opinion, just have to be patient, but eventually Bitcoin is going to be grabbing out that topside liquidity. And if we go any lower than we're currently sitting, I'm going to be heavily longing Bitcoin. If we go to 52,000, 54,000, I'm going to be opening up like a $1.5 to $2 million Bitcoin long position. So hopefully we're going to come down, because that would allow me to open up an even bigger position than I already had before. So very interesting looking at Bitcoin and all these things here. But guys, if you want to be trading yourself, you can currently claim an insane free $500 worth of a Bitcoin trade or an altcoin trade. And all you need to do for that is go to the link description of today's video and sign up an account using this link below. So if you're interested in that, if you want to be claiming a free if you want to be claiming that free $500 trade on Bybit, check it out in the link description of today's video. So with that being said, I want to be going a little bit deeper in towards the content, and that is of course this massive consolidation phase. This massive consolidation phase is one of the most important levels. And also if you're zooming out, you can just clearly see that Bitcoin has been going sideways for quite a long time right now here. And honestly, in this run towards the upside, this is maybe one of the longest consolidation phases we've been trading in. To be exact, we've been consolidating for over 120 days right now here. Over 120 days of sideways consolidation. And this is the range we should be looking at. And I think that this range, it basically tells us all. Basically, if we're at the lower side of the range, it usually provides a very good buying opportunity. So honestly, if Bitcoin is going to come down towards the lower side of the range, I'm going to be for sure accumulate even more on the spot. But for my trade, since we are seeing Bitcoin heavily coming down right now here, it actually lost all the most important support boxes. And since we are going to be seeing potentially 140,000 Bitcoin worth of sell pressure hitting the market next week, there is still a potential scenario where we're going to be breaking down. And in case of a breakdown, I want to be looking at this target right here. I just explained already in the beginning of the video, but just to be pointing it out, this is the most important range. If we break below the range, this is my target next. If we break outside of the top side, $100,000 is next for Bitcoin. So super simple to be approaching it. Bitcoin currently still, market is pretty unfair. Right now it's becoming a little bit less fair. I mean, yesterday was extremely bad, but still the market is overall in a fair state. We can currently see that Bitcoin is creating a hidden bullish divergence on the daily time frame, where we are of course creating that lower low on the RSI and that higher low on that chart on the market. So things are looking quite good. We're creating a hidden bullish divergence. And honestly, this is just indicating the market is most likely going to be having an ever so slight breather back towards the upside. A thing I want to be pointing out here is that potentially on the 2-week time frame, we're going to be having a bearish crossover on the MACD, which could be a very bearish signal, because the last time we had it, it basically indicated the top in the market was in and Bitcoin came down very heavily afterwards. So yeah, interesting to be paying attention towards. And looking at the MACD, we've been being positive for almost 2 years right now here. And for Bitcoin to be flipping bearish, it would actually give a bigger sentiment shift potentially in this market. So yeah, definitely a thing to be looking out for, and I will keep you guys notified on how that is going to be developing. Also, if I'm looking at the total altcoin market cap, so the total market excluding Bitcoin, it is looking actually quite healthy. We're right now exactly still holding that support box I've been talking about for many times before, and we're just consolidating in this massive consolidation phase. And actually, if we're looking at altcoins, in my opinion, altcoins are holding up quite well, especially Bread, which I am heavily invested in, like you guys know. This one is doing also extremely good, but altcoins overall are doing and performing extremely good at the moment. So yeah, market is looking good. And honestly, guys, I just explained all my opinions on how I will be approaching Bitcoin. I truly hope that Bitcoin is going to be breaking down a little bit lower, because then it will get me a bigger opportunity to open up a bigger trade here. But of course, if we do go higher from this point, I would take it as well. So this is it for me in today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.